Hello and welcome to day one of our 5-day Uncovid Healing Challenge. We are so thrilled to have you all here with us today. So let's get started on this transformative journey together. And today's focus is on something that many of us have been carrying for far too long: fear. Here's a question for you. What are your top 3 fears that have persisted since the pandemic began? It's a big question, isn't it? But before we jump in, we just wanted to briefly introduce ourselves. So I'm Gabriele Schlumberger. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Early Childhood Education. I'm a Healing Touch certified practitioner, a licensed massage therapist, a Be Conscious creator and Schmico method practitioner and instructor, life coach, and natural health consultant. And I'm always searching for the newest knowledge and energy release practices in order to improve the care I can provide for my clients. And Sarah and I both own a private practice specializing in empowering clients dealing with COVID, long COVID, vaccine concerns, stress, trauma, depression, and various mental and physical issues, guiding them on a transformative journey to reclaim control over their well-being and life.
And hi, I'm Sarah Sherbinow. I'm also a Healing Touch and Schmico method practitioner and a life coach. And for me, I was lucky enough to have a childhood that was really just enriched by holistic experiences and can now really offer my clients a very distinctive, ever-expanding approach to just their healing and well-being and assisting them in, kind of regaining their love for their life song. And Gabby and I, we've been co-owners and of Heal Empower Love, and I'm the daughter in our awesome mother-daughter team. And together we have over 40 years of experience in the energy therapy field. And so let's jump back into our topic with fears. So during the pandemic, fear really became a widespread, quite prevalent emotion. And I'm sure we are, all aware of that, but the uncertainty, the rapid spread of the virus, the potential threat to life, it all kind of just led to that heightened level of fear across the globe. And then this fear really just kind of manifests itself in various different ways, like including anxiety about your health, concerns for loved ones, job security, financial stability. Then you also had that whole aspect of the loss of social support network, right? Because we were isolating, and then also just the general uncertainty about the future. And the biggest one, really, the main one, the key one is the fear of the unknown. And honestly, I mean, how many of you like the unknown, the unexpected, and live for it and thrive in it? I don't know too many people that do, not many. And I know that. I like knowing what's happening. And that's the case for most of us. And I'd like for all of you guys to take out a piece of paper or a journal and just write down the top 3 fears that have persisted for you. Okay? So just go ahead, take a deep breath, kind of settle down in your chair or, wherever you may be right now. If you can, close your eyes and just kind of place your hands on your stomach. And then just continue taking those deep breaths. And then when you feel ready, just kind of pose this question again, but this time to your gut, your instinct. And you ask, what are my top 3 fears that have persisted since the pandemic began? Okay. And allow those fears to show up and pop in your mind. Don't alter them, okay? The first 3 are really, they're the right answer for you, and you don't have to necessarily understand them completely, but just trust your gut that you know what has been weighing on your heart and mind the most and kind of impeding you the most. And first and foremost, also be honest with yourself, okay? The answers that might pop up might not be something that you necessarily like or think highly of, but you're in a safe space. Nobody has to see the answers if you don't want them to. And you can kind of really confront your fears without judgment here. Okay, so just write them down as they come to you. And then either write them on separate small piece of paper, or once you've written them down, just kind of tear the paper apart so you have 3 pieces. Okay, just continue breathing deeply until you have determined all 3. And I'll give you a minute to do that. All right. Once you've gotten them, say out loud, thank you, thank you, thank you. Kind of wiggle your feet, your legs, your arms, your hands, and then just kind of turn your thinking brain back on. Okay. So now that you've identified these fears, I want you to just look at them. These words on the page they really just represent the thoughts and the worries that have been holding you back. Okay. The ones that might have more control over your life than you think.
Yeah, and the pandemic has left a deep imprint on all of us. And for many, fear has become a constant companion. We may not even have realized this. Fear has a tendency to slowly creep in, growing in strength until we have to take note of it and do something about it, since continuing to push it down will only strengthen the fears. And how many of you have done so? Think about a moment where you have just pushed down fear over and over until you just had to deal with it. And during the pandemic, when my husband was recovering from COVID, he started having symptoms of facial paralysis and ear pain, as well as decrease of hearing. And then he started developing blisters in his ear. I was terrified. Feeling of panic came up, but I kept pushing them down. And we went to the doctor, where we received the diagnosis of shingles and received steroids. And I still kept pushing that fear down. But when the doctor told us that it was a 50-50 chance that he would need surgery to improve his hearing again, that was a key moment where my fear grew so large that I had to make a choice. Push it down again or work through it. So I utilized the fear to then start throwing all the tools I knew at it, energy therapy, homeopathics, naturopath, and so much more. And my husband is perfectly fine now without any surgery, 100% back of his hearing is back. But if I had frozen again after the doctor's visit, he wouldn't be. So today we are going to begin the process of releasing your top 3 fears. And most importantly, we are going to make a choice to work through our fear, accept them, invite them in, so that we can start moving towards healing and freedom.
Who here has been overwhelmed by fear before? Pretty much all of us, I would say, right? Fear can be so overwhelming. But what's really important to remember, and I think that we just are kind of in denial about, is that it's actually really natural. It's a natural response to the unknown. During the pandemic, we we're really surrounded by uncertainty, and it's no surprise that fear took root in our lives. And like I said, fear is a natural and a very powerful emotion that kind of serves as a protective mechanism. And we all know this, but it alerts us to potential dangers, and it's kind of that triggering the fight, flight, or freeze response, among others, right? And this reaction, in case you're curious, but it comes from and is created by the amygdala, which is like a really small almond-shaped region in the brain, and it's responsible for processing our emotions. And the release of stress hormones like the adrenaline and the cortisol, they prepare the body to react to danger, to increase that heart rate, to sharpen the focus, and kind of priming our muscles for action, either to fight or to flight. And you can just, as you can tell, and you probably know, it's really just deeply rooted in our survival instincts, helping us respond to threats quickly. And fear isn't just a response to immediate threats, it can also arise from anticipation of future dangers, uncertainty of the unknown, for example, right? And in this sense, fear can be both protective but also paralyzing. And that's what happened to a lot of us. And when fear becomes, chronic or overwhelming, it then can have really negative effects on our, both mental and kind of our physical health in our body and our system. And with the pandemic related fear, it also had social and psychological impacts. And it really kind of just led to a rampage of stress, of that isolation. And in some cases, actually, a lot of cases started where people started having panic behaviors, such as hoarding supplies. I mean, guys, do you all remember the toilet paper shortage? Yeah, guys, we ran out. I'm not kidding. People in the neighborhood were kind enough to share. I literally had to make a post in one of our neighborhood groups, and and it seems so ridiculous, but I walked to neighbors a few roads over for one roll of toilet paper. I mean, can you imagine that now? I just, it still just baffles me that that was the case, that that's something that I had to do. But um, it was part of the pandemic experience, and part of that like panic behavior that was triggered by fear, and it was continually fed by that exposure to alarming news and just the unpredictability of the situation, really increasing the feelings of fear. And that then also led to just literal mental health challenges and changes in people with increased anxiety, depression, and trauma for a lot of individuals. And then if you look at it on a collective aspect, the pandemic really highlighted how fear can, spread through communities and influence behaviors and decisions. Again, think about the toilet paper. While, you know, it's laughable now, but it was really a worldwide like phenomenon with toilet paper. Like it wasn't just in the States, but it was also in Europe where it was happening. And while fear is a normal response to crisis, it's really essential to manage and address it constructively, fostering resilience and, seeking support when needed to ease its impact on our overall well-being, right? So with all that being said, it's now time for us to kind of step into a space of healing where we have the opportunity to kind of, really let go of those top three fears and make room for acceptance and peace. Okay. Are y'all ready?
Okay, so we will now move into a simple meditation exercise to help release these fears. And you will need the 3 pieces of paper, and we will just give you a moment to settle in while I get the music up. Please find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. As you breathe in, I want you to imagine drawing in calm, soothing energy. And as you breathe out, imagine releasing tension and stress. Place one hand on your heart and the other one on your belly. Really feel your abdomen rising with each inhale and lowering on each exhale. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can even sigh if it feels right. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Visualize a bird bath in front of you, and as you step closer, you notice the bird bath filled with golden glowing water. Take note of the 3 pieces of paper in your hand, each containing one of your fears. Go ahead and physically pick your papers up as well. Focus on the first one. See it clearly in your mind. Acknowledge it. Allow the feeling to briefly come up, but do not let it take control. Say out loud, "Hey, fear of," and here insert your first fear. "Hey, fear of, I see you. I acknowledge you. It is time for you to take a step back. You are a part of me. I am afraid and I love it. What I love more is feelings of peace, joy, compassion, contentment, and ease." Drop the first piece of paper with your first fear into the bird bath. Take a few deep breaths, and with each exhale, imagine that golden water dissolving and clearing the fear. Take a deep breath and focus on the second piece of paper. See it clearly in your mind. Acknowledge it. Allow the feeling to briefly come up, but do not let it take control. Say out loud, "Hey, fear of," insert your second fear here. "Hey, fear of, I see you. I acknowledge you. It is time for you to take a step back. You are a part of me. I am afraid and I love it. What I love more is feelings of peace, joy, compassion, contentment, and ease." Drop the second piece of paper with your second fear into the bird bath. Take a few deep breaths, and with each exhale, imagine that golden water dissolving and clearing the fear. Great. Take a deep breath and focus on the third piece of paper. See it clearly in your mind. Acknowledge it. Allow the feeling to briefly come up, but do not let it take control. Say out loud, "Hey, fear of," insert your third fear here. "Hey, fear of, I see you. I acknowledge you. It is time for you to take a step back. You are a part of me. I am afraid, and I love it. What I love more is feelings of peace, joy, compassion, contentment, and ease." Drop the third piece of paper with your third fear into the bird bath. Take a few deep breaths, and with each exhale, imagine that golden water dissolving and clearing the fear. Your three main fears have dissolved and cleared. Watch the bird bath fading into the distance. Visualize them leaving your mind and body. Feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. Allow yourself to experience the freedom that comes from releasing these fears. Take a moment to sit with the calmness you have created. How do you feel now compared to when you started? What emotions have come up for you during this process? Give gratitude to yourself and Source for taking this journey. Start wiggling your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath and open your eyes.
But as we come to the end of today's session, we want to congratulate you for taking this courageous step. Releasing fear is not something that happens overnight, but today you really essentially kind of planted the seed of change and acknowledged and started the process of letting go. And, every time you feel kind of fear creeping back in, just remember this exercise and remember that you have the power to release it and reclaim your peace. And just, see your fear, acknowledge it, and then let it go. Our fears are part of us and they also have a right to exist, just like the light parts do. And tomorrow we'll continue this journey by exploring the next step in our healing process. Okay. And until then, just be gentle with yourself and carry forward the calmness and the strength that you cultivated today. So thank you for being here and for your willingness to engage in this important work. And we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow as we continue our Uncovid challenge together. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.